Next question involves infrastructure. Residents live in constant fear of being without electricity anytime there's bad weather. Home medical devices won't run, food goes bad, and residents sit in sweltering heat or freezing cold. How would you tackle longstanding issues with MLGW in order to increase the reliability of our electrical system? And I'll start with candidate Floyd Bonner.
Yes, thank you. I think we've all suffered through this stormy season, losing power. It's interesting, back in 2020, rate increases occurred where MLGW is sitting on millions of dollars to cut trees to where this shouldn't have happened during these stormy times that we've lived in. So I think that we need to take another look at MLGW, how it's ran, and who's in control of MLGW. The mayor of Memphis does not have total control, and I think it should be brought under the city mayor, because MLGW should be, or the head of MLGW should be held accountable by the citizens, and that person that's running that division should be under the city mayor. Thank you.
Next up is Karen Camper.
Thank you. First, what I would do is have a full internal review of MLGW. What's working, what's not working, what can we do better? Got to take an assessment of where we are and what we're doing. I would also invest in our system. I would harden the infrastructure. I would look into green energy and see what we can do more with solar and other clean energy that we can, we're in the 21st century. So we've got to be moving away from some of the stuff that we're doing. And we have an opportunity right now because there's so many dollars that have came in from both the federal government and state government to the city to look at our power infrastructure here. A lot of people want us to put the power lines under the ground to be more secure. And so we have to have the funds to be able to do that. They are available. We just need to look at how we can do it. And it begins with taking a real hard look at what we're doing in MLGW now, what they say the priorities are now, and how, as mayor, we need to shift those priorities.
J.W. Gibson.
Thank you for this question. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite your listeners to go to my website, J.W. Gibson for Mayor, because we have our platforms listed there, and infrastructure is one of those platform positions that you will get a chance to read about. And I bring that to your attention because infrastructure for me is far more than just utility infrastructure. We're talking about transportation infrastructure. We're talking about the lack of broadband that's not a part of our infrastructure. We got an opportunity to take advantage of our ports, our rivers, our roads, and our air to expand upon what we could do as a logistical center for the United States. Utility is a problem. Truly enough, as your question suggests, people are going without utility very easily nowadays. We have the funds to cut the trees, replace the poles, but I'm more concerned about the grid. We need people who really understand the utility industry so that we can properly prepare for the future. Thank you.
Michelle McKissick.
So you mentioned MLGW. What can we do to make sure that when it gets cloudy that we all just don't go and have PTSD? And so the problem is that we need more oversight because we are 3 years into a 5-year plan of improving MLGW. We already approved increasing the rates. So what do we do with that? And you can't blame it on COVID any longer. You have to look forward saying, what are we going to do? It needs more oversight as far as who's serving on the board. We need to have people who really know about power on that board. So that's one of the things I would do. Also, I would say, let's not turn down money. The MLGW actually turned down federal dollars. They've turned down state dollars from the Tennessee Department of Energy. That's a problem. We always need to take money. There's never a time where it's like, well, I've got enough. And so that's why I believe that the number one issue is to reevaluate what's happening at MLGW, who's leading MLGW, and to take a look at how do we go about moving forward so that the citizens of Memphis really get their money's worth.
Van Turner.
Top-down assessment of MLGW leadership. We have to make sure that we have the right individuals in place. The mayor appoints the board as well as the leader of MLGW. We have to make sure that we have the right leadership in place to refresh and renovate our infrastructure, burying our power lines, cutting back the brush, making sure that we're insulating the pipes. We know the storms will come. We know the big freeze will come, but we have to be better prepared for those events when they occur. lean into solar and alternative energy supply to make sure that if the grid is down, we have an alternative source of energy. Have a dashboard established. My wife and I have a protocol. When the lights go out, we're calling MLGW. When they gonna come out and fix our problem? When are the lights gonna come back on? That should be on the dashboard, downloaded on the app, so that you know in real time when they're gonna fix your issues, and using community centers and churches as places to support communities if the lights are gonna be out for an extended period of time. Those are some things that should be implemented, and I'll implement those plans as mayor.
Paul Young?
I've had an opportunity to sit down and talk with the current president, Doug McGowan, and he talked to me a little bit about the plan, and I believe that MLGW needs time to implement this plan because they're working very hard to implement the strategy of trimming the trees, but they're going a step further and looking at areas where they may be able to bury the lines underground, identifying where it may be more cost efficient to simply switch the wooden poles to steel poles. And I think they're going to make some progress doing that. The other thing that they're exploring is switching to a smart grid system. And with this system, you know, the power, when it comes to our home, it goes through almost like a maze, all these different channels. With the smart grid system, it automatically knows what's the alternative channel to get the power to your home. So what would take someone out on the line, you know, hours, it will take 3 minutes. And so those are the types of solutions that we can implement today. The last thing I'll say is thinking about the infrastructure connecting water lines to homes.